right, the wiring, it looks a lot better. I mean, it still looks a little bit like spaghetti here, but I've double checked everything, so everything is right. And basically the simplest way for me to put it right now is we have the rough in done for all of the outgoing wire. The incoming power is going to come right up through the bottom here, but I'm doing some stuff here that I don't want to do until I have it mounted on the trailer, because remember I got to run my poles through here. So I got to build a chase here, and there's going to be a door right here where my power comes from the outside. So I'm going to do all that later on. So all that's done, but everything from the breaker box in is completely wired and ready for us to button it up now. So as you can see, I did a couple steps of this when we were showing you how to do it, but that's how that'll look now. I'll just cover this up, so when I spray my insulation, I'm not getting any insulation in there, and that's ready for me just to basically connect all those to my breakers. Other than that, we got everything done. I added a circuit just for the air conditioner up there. That's something I hadn't talked about yet that I forgot and I remembered to do. Yeah, so this is it. You can now see all the lights are done. So basically we come to here and we just pick up all those other ones. So the LED lights will just plug right into these boxes that are up there on the ceiling now. So a lot of that type of stuff is the bulk of the work to wiring. So once we have the sheeting and everything on this, it's really going to button up fast. It's a nice diesel generator, more than capable of handling the power that we need for Brewster. It's just been sitting for a long time, so whether or not we'll run into some hoses that fail and stuff like that, but you can't hardly pass it up at almost a third of the price of what they sell for new. So we knew the batteries were bad. I know these are expensive. These are a gel-filled battery. They're pretty small, but it's got a 24-volt starter on it, and it has a diesel engine. So they're taking two 12-volt batteries and they're wiring them to get their 24. I don't know for sure what we'll do. You can look at the space. These are designed to fit in there. I can get any two 12-volt batteries and fix it, but the space is made for them. So, and I don't know if I'm capable of thinking like Phil thinks. I'm just being honest. Phil's like, we can just take any two batteries and throw them out in the parking lot next to it and it'll fire right up. I'm more along the lines of I want this thing to be the way it's supposed to be. It's not quiet. It'd help a lot if we shut this door. But I'd have to look into that. That might be a place there saying we can plug it in to jump start it. Runs really good. What's this warning? I won't worry about it if you tell me what it is. Battle short active. That sounds serious. So you can run it with warning lights on. I think I might want to disconnect that, because if you let Rachel anywhere near it, I'm done. Basically what he's saying is, we all know what happened with Rachel's car. The red light came on, she should have shut it off. Well, these have warnings in them that will make the machine shut down, but they have a switch here that you can flip that'll bypass all warnings and let you just run it. And jackasses like this enjoy that. They would be like, flip the switch. No, you've told me like 14 stories of you going out there and melting these things to the ground.
We had to charge our iPads. And
they had to charge their iPads. So the fact that it was saying warning, needs water, warning, needs water, and he's like, nah, just run it. Rev it up, let it cool down with the air.
If it's the only thing between you and the entire battalion of NBA, and the generator got hit by a few rounds.
I get
and
that.
It's not working right.
You're gonna charge your iPods.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what's going on. Okay, I'm fine with all this. Just know that this is peacetime, and my equipment.
I was actually going to suggest to you to actually either remove or disable that.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. All right, excuse my mess. Brewster's kind of hogging up my whole part of the shop, so I'm kind of in our cut room here, and I don't have a whole lot of room. So much stuff stacking up. We're at that really uncomfortable phase with Brewster where I have to buy a lot of stuff so I know exactly what size it is, and I can, you know, put my plugs in the right place, my water in the right place, figure out how I'm gonna mount it to the wall, put in all my dead wood, all this kind of stuff. So I'm being forced to build this in not a whole lot of space. But this is a very important part of the Brewster build. We've talked about the canopies that have to retract so that we're not too wide. I've played around with a lot of different designs with this in my head, and I'm not saying that lightly at all. This is probably design 496. It's been hard on my head. And again, I'm just kind of having to build as I go, and there's a ton of details that matter here. If there was just one canopy, this wouldn't have been so hard. But where you got two canopies, and I don't want them to have to climb up on the roof, and A, for safety, and B, for wear and tear on the roof, all these different reasons, I really want it to be automated. But the automation isn't the hard part per se. It's the fact that both are automated. It's the fact that both have to, that they want at least 3 foot sticking out. So basically there's going to be a canopy that's about just really close to 4 foot wide, centered over the window. This is my window right here, so this is the center of my window on the trailer. And it will slide out 3 feet. Now I'm making it longer than 3 feet so that it actually hangs back in here about 6 inches. And then I'm going to put a slight slope to the upper part of it. So unlike most canopies, instead of the water going off the canopy and dripping down on the car, the water should actually come back and drain into the roof and then follow the roof right down and out the back of the building. So that's going to be kind of cool. But what's going to happen here, I'm well on the way. I've got my slides built, so these have to overlap with each other. So when this one comes back, okay, this will be happening on 2 sides, and this one comes back, you see they're hitting each other. So, you know, they're going to be something like that maybe. So I couldn't share a track and still have it be 40 inches. So I'm having to rig up 2 separate tracks for the 2 separate canopies, and this is kind of the design that I'm coming up with. I'll feel a lot better about this once it's all working, which today, I'm actually hoping that by the end of the day, I'll have a working slide here. And by the end of the weekend, I'd like to have this project done, but it would help if I actually got a whole day to work on it. I mean, I think it's noon now and I haven't got to touch this today. So a lot of different projects going on, but this is the canopy. What's going to happen is this will be this side here. It's going to slide all the way out to here, and these will stop about right here. And at that point, the canopy will be out about 3 foot. And then when it comes back, these will both come back in, and it So, and then that 3 foot will be back in. Then the same thing will happen with this one here. It'll be mounted here, so when it's out, it'll be there, and then it'll come all the way back in until all 3 feet of it are in. So that's kind of how it's working. The things that are important and the things I'm concerned about right now without knowing, I want to get this stuff really, really square, because as these two slide, we don't want them binding against each other. I'm building this all out of aluminum just for weight purposes. And the other thing that I'm really worried about is what's going to happen here. And I'm not an engineer, guys, so I'm thinking I'm going to be fine. I got 2 slides that are sliding on this bar, but the amount of the pressure is going to do this really hard, because you're going to have from here, I'm welding to this, and then from here all the way out 4 feet, it's literally hanging, all of that's hanging on these 2 slides. So that means this is going to push down and this is going to want to lift up because it's just kind of hanging there. So until I have that built, I don't know how this will feel. I think this is plenty heavy duty to handle it. I'm hoping it's still going to slide on here really good like it is now, but it may be a disaster. So I guess check back later. And then once I get them all sliding good, then I'll automate it. And I'm just doing that with, basically it's just a linear, it's like a screw that will screw out one side and screw out the other. Same thing they use on slide outs on a mobile home. When you park your mobile home and you poke it out, just using stuff like that. It's gonna all be 12 volt. So I've got all that worked out with my wiring on where I'm gonna handle that and how I'm gonna do that. But it should just literally be down at the front corner, flip a switch, this side will go out, flip a switch, that side will go out. When you're done, flip it and they come back in. And so far, I think we're at probably 100 inches is our maximum of our width right now, and I don't see this shouldn't change that a bit. 102 is where we have to stay to be legal as a trailer. So all that's working really good. So we should have a canopy on our drive-through and still be a street legal trailer driving down the road. And that's the complication of this. Otherwise, I could just build a canopy and screw it up to the side, and if it was a building, done, piece of cake. But instead, we have to make all this stuff so that it functions as a trailer.